Good evening and welcome to the rest of the news. It's wonderful to have you with us tonight. And we had a special guest, but they had to take their mother to the hospital this evening. And so we're just going to talk with you by ourselves. There's a number of important things going on. First of all, you know, Florida put prayer back in their public schools. And then Mississippi put prayer back in their public schools. And we want to put prayer back in Kentucky public schools. And we can do it with your help. So what we're doing is we're putting out these petitions. Now this is part of the petition. And you can see it says down here, children can need prayer. They can they can pray at school, or they can wait till they get put in jail and then they can pray. And the important thing about it is you can look back when prayer was taken out of the public schools. The teenage pregnancy started up, and has been going up ever since. It all started when they took prayer out of the public school. The other thing is violent crime started up, and it's gone up and down some since then, but it started going up and got a lot worse when they took prayer out of the public schools. And the other thing that's most amazing is the SAT scores in the public schools started down right when they took prayer out of the public schools, and it went down for 18 years in a row. And they had never gone down more than 2 years in a row before that. So it shows you that when we kick God out of the public schools, there are a lot of problems. And it's really important that we get prayer back in the public schools. So if you can help us build support, we would send you one of these petitions. You can pass it out in your church, in your family, in your relatives, your neighbors, your work, and see if you can get people to support the idea of putting prayer back in our public schools. And the number to call is 893-2444. That's 893-2444. And we'll send you this petition. And I have here a copy of the bill that was passed in Mississippi. And it is a fantastic bill. It specifically says that children should not be discriminated against in the public schools just because they believe in God or want to talk about God or have an opinion about moral issues or something. They cannot be discriminated against, which is really kind of what's going on in the public schools now. So it's a tremendous bill that will, I think, totally transform our entire country to put God and prayer back in our public schools. So if you'll call that number, 893-2444, you can call it right now. And if no one is there to answer the phone, you can just leave a message on the answering machine with your name and address and and telephone number, and we'll send it to you in the mail. So you can call right now, no matter what time it is when you see this, and we'll get that out. And we've already got about 10,000 people that are supporting the idea of putting prayer back into the public schools. And we need a lot of people because there's a lot of opposition. As you know, the people that took prayer out of the public school are active, and they don't want prayer back in the public school. They don't want people to have the privilege or the right to say anything positive about God. They just don't want that. And so we need to take our country back and make it one nation under God again. So call that number right now, 893-2444. A lot of people are talking it over with their pastor, and they are allowing them to collect petitions in the church. Then we also would recommend you give everyone a petition they can take home and get their relatives to sign it. And when all of this is done, we're going to put them in a computer that will tell us the state representative and the state senator for every person that has signed the petition. And then we're going to send each state senator and state representative a list of the people in their district that has signed the petition, and ask them to co-sponsor the whole idea in Frankfort this coming January. So it's really important, if you could, to go ahead and call that number, and we'll get that petition out to you right away. That number again is 893-2444. Now, these are the DVDs that we're trying to give away to everyone that wants to see America one nation under God again. And they're about Obamacare, they're about the Muslim Brotherhood, they're about Dr. Dobson is on one of them, and so is David Barton, and there's one just on hymns, there's one on the Federal Reserve System, and then there's people that were living when Hitler was voted into Austria. That's one of our more popular ones. There were people that were around when the communists took over Romania, and there's some on gun control. There's ones on Dr. Ben Carson when he was speaking at the inaugural breakfast. And here's one more on Obamacare. Here's one on a lady that was aborted by her mother and survived, and she tells her story. And here's one by Norma McCorvey, who was the Jane in Roe v. Wade, Jane Roe. And she tells her whole story of how they made up all of this material to get abortion legalized. And here's one on Common Core. That's a very important federal program that they're trying to use to take over the public schools and teach just what Washington wants children to believe. It's tremendous, and you really need to get that Common Core curriculum. And then here's two videos about evolution, how evolution has been scientifically proven to be a false theory. It's just a religious idea to get rid of God. And these are all in these DVDs. If you can, write down which kind you want, which DVD you want, and call that number, the same number, 893-2444, and we will get the DVD out to you right away. And it's totally free, because we believe that in America, we believe in you, and we believe we can take America back if we all work together. Now, here is a schedule. We're having meetings all over the state of Kentucky to give out DVDs and to promote prayer in our public schools. We'll be having meetings all over the state in each congressional district, and we're going to go out and give out these petitions, give out the DVDs, and ask people to have meetings in their own towns and cities to promote one nation under God. Now, the other thing we'd like to send you for free is this bumper sticker. Now, you may have seen this bumper sticker. There are hundreds of them all over the city. And this is what the cultural war is all about, is the Lord Jesus. And people want to get rid of God. They want to get rid of prayer. They want to get rid of the Ten Commandments. They just want to tear America down. So we would like to get this out in as many places as possible, because this is the answer to our problems. So if you can, just tell the answering machine or whoever answers the phone when you call the number 893-2444, and we'll send you this. This is also free. Now, there's some tremendous issues going on all the time in America, and I want to just tell you a few of them. If you get on our email list, I think there's 7,000 people on our email list now, and we send out these email alerts, and all you have to do is click on it, and it will send an email to your congressman. Here's one. It says, "Stop the terrorists from crossing our southern border." You know, the terrorists are walking in shoulder to shoulder across our southern border, bringing in their bombs and bringing in their drugs and doing all these, and the federal government is doing very little to stop it. And now they want to open it up even more and let more drugs and more bombs come in from our southern borders. It's not just people from Mexico and South America and Central America. There are people from all over the world, Chinese and a lot of Muslim terrorists. They're coming in all the time over our southern borders and setting up little groups so that when the time comes, they can come and blow up you and me. And we need to not let more and more terrorists in over our southern border. So that is just all you do is click on this. If you give us your email address, say if you call that number, 893-2444, we'll put you on the email list, and we put out emails, I'd just say at least twice a week, of the current crisis in Washington and in Frankfurt. Things are happening all the time, and you need to know about it, and we always check everything that we send you and make it so all you have to do is click on a link and it'll send the message, and you can rewrite the message or do anything you want. Okay, so this is the first one, is to stop the terrorists from crossing the southern border. And then the next one is protect traditional marriage. There is now a Marriage Protection Amendment, HRJ Resolution 51, sponsored by Congressman Tim Hulskamp. And it just says that Congress believes in traditional marriage. That's very important. And here again, if you get our newsletters, you just click on that. This one went out this morning. So you click on it, and if you want to get these newsletters, call the number 893-2444, and we'll send you the Jesus bumper sticker. We'll send you the petition to put prayer back in schools. We'll send you the DVD list, and you can get whatever DVD you want, or more than one, enough for you and your relatives and your mother and your father and your children and your aunt and uncle. Everybody needs to get these DVDs, and they're perfectly free. So it's time to make America one nation under God again. And we can give you all this, and it's free. Now, here's another one about Obamacare. Now, you know, Obamacare is becoming more and more unpopular. And this is a send a message to Congressman to defund Obamacare. You know, they don't have the money to put Obamacare through, so they're going to try to get more and more taxes, more and more money. And to click on this, it'll send it to all your congressmen, to everyone's congressman, whoever clicks on it, plus your 2 senators, and let them let your voice be heard on all of these issues. It's time to speak up. Now, here's another one on the IRS. It says, demand that Congress abolish the Internal Revenue Service. Congress can eliminate politically motivated abuse of the tax system by transitioning to a system that makes the IRS unnecessary. Congress can also stimulate the economy and create jobs by stopping our current system, which punishes hard work and success. That's what, if you are motivated and you work and work extra and work overtime, start your own company and work hard, guess what? The government's going to punish you and raise your taxes and tax you more and more and more. Well, what do you think that does to our economy? No wonder we're in a recession. It's going to get worse and worse until we stop the abuse of the Internal Revenue System, which punishes people for working and working hard and being successful. And there's a link on here on this email. You just click on the link and it'll send the message. Now, don't forget, 893 is the number. 893-2444 is the number to get everything. Get the petition for putting prayer back in the school, get the free DVDs, get the list of DVDs so you can see which one you want, a brief description of each DVD, the Jesus bumper sticker, and the email list. You give them your email, or if your child has an email or somebody, a grandchild, and you want to get these, you give them any email address you want, and at least I would say twice a week we'll send out the current issues in Washington that you can let your voice be heard. Now, we don't have to sit here and take all of this garbage. Let your voice be heard. Speak up and tell them we want America to be one nation under God again. And we don't want you punishing people for working and socializing medicine and doing all these things. It's time to speak up. So call that number right now, 893-2444. Okay, here's another one. It says Congress ought to investigate and punish the people that were abusing the IRS system. Okay, here's another email. It says, we reported last week that Carter Hull, a top tax attorney at the IRS, testified that the agency's chief counsel was directly involved in targeting Tea Party groups and Christian groups, too, for additional scrutiny and harassment. Peggy Newman described Hull's testimony as a bombshell, that the chief counsel of the IRS is one of only 2 Obama political appointees in the entire IRS agency. Okay, so it's coming down to Obama's doorstep about this IRS harassment of Christians and Tea Party and conservatives and everybody that believes in the Constitution. That's coming down to Obama's doorstep. And you can get this link to click on, and it sends a message about stop the abuse of the IRS. Okay, here's another one. Please help this pastor, Pastor Saeed, S-A-E-E-D, a U.S. citizen, was put in prison by the Muslims for his Christian faith. Okay, he's in Iran. And according to the American Center for Law and Justice, nearly a year ago, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard raided the home of this pastor in Iran and imprisoned him just because of his faith in Christianity. Okay? They put him in prison. That's what we're going to have here in the United States if we don't fight back. Okay? An account of the same faith, he faced a bogus trial and was convicted of a sentence to a lengthy prison term and brutally beaten. and harassed. Okay? Well, American citizens don't do that. Okay? There was a president named Roosevelt, and he says, you better speak quietly and carry a big stick. He wouldn't allow things like this to happen. So America should not be letting American citizens be persecuted because their faith in God. So we need to speak up. Let your voice be heard. It's time to speak up and say, hey, enough is enough. And tell your congressman and your senator in Washington that we've had enough of this. Okay? Tell your congressman to support the National Right to Work Act, the federally imposed system of compulsory union dues. Okay? In Kentucky, in order to get a job in a union-controlled business like Ford Motor Company or UPS, you have to pay the union dues. Okay? And it says all of this leads to, all that money goes to the Democrat Party. Okay? And you cannot work in Kentucky in what they call a union shop unless you pay dues to the union, who gives it all to the Democrat Party. Now, does that sound fair? You can't get a job at these places unless you pay money to the Democrat Party. Now, what kind of talk is that? That's craziness. Why, the important states around us like Tennessee and all these other states, they don't have a high their unemployment rate is much lower than ours. And they make a lot more income than the people in Kentucky because Kentucky is under the union's thumb. So it says 80% of the American people opposed forced union dues. You can click on this, and there's a bill in Congress that would say you can join a union if you want to, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. And if you don't want to pay union dues, you don't have to, because it all goes to the Democrat Party. You lose control of that money when you pay it to the union, and they give it to the radical left-wingers. That's where all that money goes. And it doesn't have to be that way. All of these successful states around Kentucky have a higher personal income and less unemployment because they have shops where you don't have to join the union. Right to work laws. So tell Congress to pass the Military Conscience Protection Act. This is another bill that's in Washington right now to stop discrimination against Christians in the military. They're saying the military personnel cannot talk about Christianity in the armed forces. Obama has passed these regulations saying, oh no, you can't talk about faith in Christianity if you're in the military. They're trying to shut it down just like they did in the public schools. And they've also said that the Christian chaplains cannot pray in Jesus' name. So all of this foolishness, they're discriminating against Christians in the military. Obama is. Okay, so here again, you click on this link and it'll send a message to your U.S. congressman and your two U.S. senators, and you can stop this. Let your voice be heard today. Speak up, and all you have to do to get these emails is you get your petition, you get your Jesus bumper sticker, you get your list of DVDs, you get the email list, and everything is free. It's all free because we think you are important, and we want to take and make this country one nation under God again. So give that number a call right now, 893-2444. There's so much going on. I would like to tell you more. Now, here's something that I think is really remarkable. They have come up with a document in Libya that says Morsi, who just got kicked out of Egypt, was responsible for the Benghazi attacks. Now, of course, Morsi was put in power to a large extent by Obama. Okay? The former prime minister was told to leave by Obama. Said, "Oh, your days are up." So they put in this Morsi, who is a radical Muslim Brotherhood leader, who is in with the terrorists. The Muslim Brotherhood is a terrorist organization, and so all of this is coming out about Benghazi, about Morsi was involved in that. They have it on the internet, a copy of the document saying Morsi was involved, that he organized it, sent the troops over to attack Benghazi, and all of these things are happening on our watch, and we need to speak up about it. Here's more ongoing slave trade in Africa. They're right now enslaving black people in Africa because they are Christian and not Muslim. So if you don't believe in the Muslim faith and worship the Muslim religion, then they want to either cut your head off or raise your taxes or kick you out of the country or make you a slave. And all of these things are going on right now in Africa. And the Muslims are trying to make slaves out of anyone in the Africa that doesn't go along with their Muslim ideas. So it's a very critical time. And I'm just going to say one more time, we need your help. With God's help, we can do this. Oh, here's one other thing. There is a Holocaust Memorial Museum, and it has some of the Stars of David that the Jews were forced to wear to identify them as a problem. They're trying to get rid of that and change the story to, it's an anti-Jewish move by the Freedom From Religion groups. Well, we're running out of time. God bless you. Appreciate you watching. Tell somebody else and call that number, 893-2444. We'll be waiting for your call, and we'll get all of this free information out to you. With God's help, we can turn it all around. God bless you, and tune in again next week for the rest of the news.